I had said, to the people like who were investigating me at police, I was like, you're gonna get a phone call or some shit, and they're gonna tell you that we're not gonna fucking book him because he gives us everything and blah 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 about dog fighters or something. When in reality, that's not really exactly the case. I've said a lot of things that were purposely jokes, purposeful jokes that they knew probably were bullshit, but they did know about the Triple J thing was bullshit, and they knew about they had to like use his neighbors or whatever supposedly to get to, or the people's neighbors to get to. Um, they were trying to like H Lee and Triple J I think are working together, and they set it up to where Triple J was doing stuff or something, and they caught him. But I think Triple J is gonna get off somehow. But Madison Parker is involved, and he's the one who supposedly does stuff with feds, according to H. Lee. But and he agreed with me that Triple J is doing dumb shit with dogs, and that we should get him or something. But he went to talk with him and told him about it or something like that. And then they were talking shit, and so then they pinched me up somehow, where they had people investigating me, and Holly was involved, and they tried to make it out to seem like I was the one who like I killed Holly or some shit. I think I told H. Lee that, and yada yada yada, and gave him some shit for them to send some people over. And I think they either knew about it or maybe did know about it, but they tried to like make me look bad. And then I ended up saying some shit about go and follow Triple J or any of those people that he hangs out with, because he knows about some shit going on, because he does. We all know that he knows about some stuff. And they did, and it's like they did it illegally though. They went to the fucking, but it was because they were talking shit, and they set it up to where they followed me around and all this other stuff. And they had gotten coy too, because Rob was basically like my jiu-jitsu coach. He does stuff with people with dog fighting and shit. He was investigating me, I think, before, and yada yada yada. But he's been on my page and all this other shit when Coy was like posting stuff around, and I was sharing it. Like Coy Glenn is like a known dog man. He was sharing it around, and I shared it to my page, and they ended up getting his ass. And I was just talking about how this dude just blatantly says, one time win or whatever. He just says it all over the place. I'm just like, dude, this dude is like retarded. And I think Rob saw it and got with his people, because he works with all kinds of, it doesn't take long for them to mobilize on people. And I had somebody named Malcolm Thompson too on my page, who I think was investigating me because of H. Lee, and whoever else. But he was, he knowingly, you know, like was trying to get me to sell him Rex, and I didn't want to because I thought it was illegal. And he basically was like, I think you're doing the right thing, because he knew I was thinking about being a cop or trying to help out cops. And so like he put pressure on me to do that, and he's been trying to get me for that. But this is the type of shit that you have to deal with in this country, is these people will do anything that they can to help kill your dogs, manipulate you, or anything to help them with the police force. And like, working in conjunction with my neighbors and doing all kinds of shit like that, they consistently try to, make you have all these problems and shit. And it's like, all I have to do, bro, is just basically fucking, like, like they're gonna try to make it seem like, they're mad as fuck. Like right now, they're like mad as fuck, and that's why they are working with people to like kill my dogs. And they're trying to, act like, watch, they'll give me like a temporary restraining order, even though this shit happened with me and Holly like 6 months ago. You know what I mean? And it's because of the things that I said in my phone. You know what I mean? And it's like, watch, it'll pop up. And I went down, I already posted when I went down to the court and shit and all this other stuff. And like this whole thing will happen where like they'll come along and because these people who are investigating me are mad. So they decided to put me back years, and they decided to kill Sailor Moon. And they're trying to make it seem like, because they get with my neighbors, and they use my neighbors to do it to me, you know. And then they'll like disappear or some shit because Homeland Security will like, you know what I mean, or something like that. They'll like grab them and then they'll find nothing or something, you know, or whatever, and you know, or they'll like, or Trump will pardon me because I've been helping them out with the Trump thing because of the stuff that I've been saying while they were investigating me through my phone. It's fucking unreal. This shit is unreal. Like, the level of shit that this country does for nothing, like, it's literally over dogs, bro. It's over dogs. Like, I cannot make this up. Like, there's nobody who's that schizophrenic that would make some shit like this up. They're just going to, like, try my hardest. And, like, I'm using my eyebrow emphasis to try to look as crazy as possible because these people just never stop doing evil shit to me. Like, it's like, I'm not crazy, bro. I've already been through that stage in my life when I was doing a lot of drugs. I do not want to do that ever again. And I only did spice. That's the only drug I did once was spice. Never did any other hard drugs. So I've been around people who've done stuff. They've even tried to get me with the one bitch from the fight department. You know, that she was trying to buy weed, I thought, and they tried to set it up to where she bought crack. And she just used it in my car. This is like years ago, and she worked for firefighters. There's another guy who works for firefighters in Miami, supposedly. He's retired, who's involved with game dogs and shit, and he's investigating stuff. They use like other people outside of cops a lot. Like they've had animal control. The one bitch sleep with me just to come into my house to see what I'm doing in my house, bro. Like they had Chelsea Wolf like sleep with me or whatever, and I have the picture of it where like now she posted up because I said a troll in my phone while they were investigating me. I said a troll about like that like her name should be Chelsea AWC for like animal wildlife conservation or something, like whatever the fuck she is. And she actually posted that shit, and these people are spreading this shit around town, and they're like trying to say I'm like doing this and that. It's like, bro, all because of jokes. I said I was like a pedo or something, which I'm not, which I was raped as a kid, but I would never actually do that to a kid, bro. I'm like the victim. Obviously I'm not a pedo, bro. I talked one time to a 14-year-old girl and didn't know she was 14, but I knew that it was probably a 30-year-old, so I started off strong with some fuck shit. And when they said that they were 14, I was like, oh no, and I hit the brakes, you know. But I knew it was either some 30-year-old dude trying to troll me, or, you know, if it was a 14-year-old, that, like, if they told me I was not going to keep going with the conversation. And I didn't. And then it turned out that it was actually, I think, a girl who was 14 at the time, because I looked at their page after they investigated her, and she said that I stopped or something, like, on her thing, like I had said to do. You know, after they investigate you, she said I stopped. And I was like, oh shit, I think it was actually a real young person. But they probably got to her to do that, because, like, there was a time when I was dealing with dogs that they were like trying to get me for stuff, and it was weird that as soon as I said something about, I'm surprised they haven't gotten me like that, or gotten me for choking my dogs, that I'm surprised that they didn't, I'm surprised that someone didn't try to get me, and they ended up trying to get my ass, you know, with this 14-year-old bitch that tried to add me in her group. And I was like, hell no. I was like, you're gonna get hurt, bro, trying to do that shit with people. You know what I mean? Like, being 14 years old trying to like talk to some grown ass dude is like the sketchiest shit. I told her that, you know, but I don't even know, man. I don't even know really if it was a real account or they're just using her pictures, you know, and acting like it is. But I'm just saying, they've been trying to get my ass for years, bro. And they've been setting shit up for years. And I'm gonna just start getting a polygraph machine and posting all this shit up. You know, so like I said, if I just disappear on a Baker Act because they're trying to say I'm crazy, you know why. So you can't make this shit up, bro. I promise you on my life, you can't make it up. I literally told Trump about Greenland, Panama, all his Stargate idea, everything. And like, as soon as I get a polygraph machine, it's gonna prove that. You can't make it up. Like, I was telling him, like, to go with the whole thing with the Mexico thing and trying to like get Greenland and fucking just coaching them along for the last 6 months, bro. In my phone, talking to myself, everything that I've said in my phone, and I've talked to it directly, like I talked to it like I was directly talking to the people on the other line, because the FBI's been on my phone nonstop. because I had said some shit about all this stuff, and it's like, the reason is because they keep killing my dogs. Like, all these local governments, like Hillsborough, fucking all that shit, like around town, they keep doing this shit to my ass all the time, and they keep smoking them and murking them. So, and being involved with it, excuse me, like, neighbor killed Linus, I think, or if it was cops, not even sure, but it was definitely one of those, but I'm pretty sure it was her, because she's been in my phone the longest, but could have been cops being in my phone too. You know, they're in and out of it all nonstop. So, you know, like, there's no way to, like, prove exactly who did it kind of thing, but I know who's talking about it and acting a certain way about it because of, like, little things that they're hearing. So it could be cops trying to tell my neighbors to act a certain way, and they heard what I said on the phone, or it doesn't even matter. Like, I'm making sure that everyone gets involved for that shit. Like, I'm gonna just explain it all on polygraph machines so that everybody understands my point of view, and they're gonna think extremely shitty of our government because they're evil.